that we're exposed to visually has to do with the composition using words. Not all of them, but this is.
As scholars interested in new media and image studies are well aware, there's a great deal of resistance among many composition instructors toward the notion of integrating visual text into a writing course. Even the concept of visual rhetoric is engaging some disagreement over the value of reading and composing non-alphabetic texts.
I kid my students, I say, you know, we're the biggest manipulators in the world. Because that's what we do. But we do it in a very, hopefully a positive sense, and we don't take it lightly.
One of the central concerns regarding multimodal texts is the issue of grading. Though writing in and of itself is a primarily subjective area for evaluation, how are we as English teachers to evaluate visual texts? Perhaps turning to the art department might be a good place to approach ways of working with visually integrated texts. From the studio art perspective, much of a student's evaluation comes from his or her ability to creatively accomplish the assignment's goals, which usually involve attention to stylistic detail more so than the fostering of meaning-making, at least in intro-level courses.
Grading in media.
Grading's tough. Some people have like on the grading it seems some people do the whole the presentation, the how well did you follow directions. I love that. And craftsmanship or something like that. And then they go into, like, they'll put in, like, another section where they'll do, like, content and concept and how you executed things. But my experience is they've always tried to, like, balance it out more to where it's not totally concept.
Again, it's that level of undergrad, graduate. And graduate, you shouldn't have to have anyone giving you these assignments or anything. You're working on a body of work that has to do with some sort of experience you've had or just something that you're engaged with in that medium. In undergrad,
you're working towards that.
You're working towards that, but you're learning, again, you're learning material usage and ideas, problem solving. How well does the student execute get from point A to point B? And are they getting better as they go through? I think grading in an art setting is established for those people that are just coming through and they're not majors.
Oh, really?
And it's a way to keep them in line so they don't just throw something together the night before and to take serious what they're doing. And if you have dedicated art majors, they really don't care about their grades. They're going to be working because they want to work. They want to produce.
According to Professor Louis Glosser from the Graphic Design Department, art is about self-expression. Graphic design is about solving a client's communication problem in order to elicit a specific response to inform, persuade, or instruct.
With an English essay, we naturally have degrees of subjectivity and grading, but our evaluations are typically based on a mix of criteria, including mechanics and how well the paper accomplishes the goal of the prompt. Yes. So how do you grade artwork, and what sort of evaluation system do you use?
Well, I'll tell you what I do. I grade it according to the assignment. And this is the crux of it, because it is like, it goes back to the profession. For instance, if you meet with a client and you understand the client's needs and wants, and you come up with something that does not satisfy the client's needs and wants, but looks great and makes people smile or cry or something like that, it's going to fail because it doesn't fulfill the criteria. They have to research not only their content, but come up with a client, target audience, do a creative brief on investigating what kind of demographics they're working with, and so forth. So it's just not drawing pretty pictures. There's a lot of psychology involved. There's a lot of marketing, and there's a lot of business savvy. There is a certain amount of emotion that goes into grading subjectively. You know, you can have all your ducks lined up, and it doesn't sing to anybody. And, you know, that's tough then. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it has to encompass everything. It has to create the right emotional response as well as the intellectual satisfaction. And that's very important in our field.
Yes, it's entirely rhetorical.
Exactly.
How important is it, do you feel, for our art majors to be able to compose meaning in different media?
I think it's very interesting and very important. I think it makes everything more interesting because we're just not a small segment of the population. We're communicators. And however we communicate, however it's appropriate to communicate, however it's best to communicate, is the best way to solve the problem. So we have to communicate on every level we can. But if you think about what we're into is visual communication, and so much of communication in visuals are words.
To a certain extent, then, graphic designers accomplish the same sort of tasks that composition instructors ask of their students. Understanding visual text satisfies much of what inquiry asks for in freshman-level composition courses, and creating visual text employs many of the same skills endorsed by argument. Perhaps this branch of the art department serves as the bridge between the studio and the word processor. Perhaps if we, as composition instructors, continue to explore the ways in which these artistic elements foster learning in significant ways, we can continue to contextualize for our students the importance of effective communication, whether spoken, written, or visual.
Is this an image? Is this an image? Image.